Wow, that's a very pretty twirl, Isla. Let's see it one more time. Wow, I can't do that. Hey Internet, about a month ago I went down to Mitchell Hora's farm down in southeast Iowa. Mitchell is my co-host for the Fieldwork podcast. Today, he's actually coming up here. He's gonna visit my farm, see what kind of conditions I'm farming him in, and I'm gonna show him what real farm machinery looks like. Did we decide to get the deep bander out to show them? We did. What do you think, Isla? Do they want the wings up or the wings down? Down, we should put them down. Okay. Oh, up? All right, we'll leave them up then. Ah, there we go. Should we show Didge the camera, see what she does? Didge, don't you want to talk on camera? You want to say something? No? Gone. How's the racetrack coming, Onyx? Good? He had a packer out there last night and this morning. He was watering the track. He's been working pretty hard on that thing. Well, that was Oliver? He was watering. Your friend Oliver. Mitchell, you better hurry up. It's getting awfully dark to the northwest. See? That kid never stops on that thing lately. All right, it looks like Mitchell is just arriving on the farm.
I checked the corn.
By way of cornfield, corny situation.
It's a long walk from Iowa all the way up there.
Yeah, well, it's a big field of dreams, isn't it?
Big field of dreams.
You didn't pee in there, right?
No, I didn't pee.
All right.
I found corn that was really thirsty though, and I watered it.
All right. Well, I won't ask anymore. So what's the outlook on that?
I mean, it looks fine. It looks nice and long. This one was on the end, so I'm sure he's not very representative of the rest of the field, but I think he's gonna be all right.
Most of the rest of them are double that.
Double that?
Yeah,
huge.
twice that
They're
size.
just like massive, like
Yeah, baseball bats.
baseball bat.
Yeah.
Kind of gonna have to have your combine really tuned in to be able to take all that corn in.
It's a deer.
Oh.
Yeah, well, it'll be good.
So it's gonna be like.
All right, I'm here with the Minnesota Public Radio Fieldwork crew.
Yeah.
As you can tell, looking professional, and a few kids are trailing with. We're gonna go for a quick tour around the farm. I'll show Mitchell what's going on up here in west central Minnesota. Have you ever been this far from Iowa?
No, never.
No?
I don't know why you would ever want to leave Iowa, but here we are.
We won't get into that. Yeah, so this is obviously the grain setup. We're building a new, that's gonna be a new holding tank, new wet bin for us.
Yeah.
30 feet, 9 ring, about 20,000.
Okay.
So we'll have the new bin and the old wet tank here together. They'll be both plumbed into the same conveyor. So we'll have about 30,000 bushels of holding capacity then.
Yeah.
And then everything ties together through the leg.
Pump it through a lot faster. You're gonna need it here this year.
Well, we're gonna need it. See, you're in
Yeah,
southern
you're gonna need
Iowa.
it.
You don't need such a big grain dryer.
Right,
so
right.
it's not uncommon for us. We try not to, but it's not uncommon to take 30% corn.
Oh yeah, yeah.
30, 32. At 34, we start shutting things down because then
Yeah.
you're just making cereal out of it.
If we've got, it's just mush.
It is. It's terrible. I hate it.
If we've got 24%, 25%,
Yeah.
I mean, we'll do it, but that'd be kind of on the upper end.
See, and if we start harvesting 24% corn,
You're like, this is
we
great.
are super excited.
This is
Harvest
great.
is going to be easy.
Yeah, going fast.
Onyx, you should maybe just set that back down.
Sledgehammers are so fun.
You don't have that on video yet?
I think he made sure he got it on video.
That's a lot of hits. Like,
Yeah.
Onyx picks up giant sledgehammer. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, let's see what happens.
Go ahead and push some stuff, see what happens.
Well, see, it's farmer talk. It's good farmer layout. Red, stop, green, go.
Yeah, but there's no
It's not
green.
like green, it's black though. Ours is green. It's easier.
See, it's the opposite of the mics at NPR, where red means the mics are on.
Yeah.
Doesn't make
Oh,
sense.
No wonder we're all thrown off.
Yeah. So we've got the air system out the back of the dryer. I don't remember how yours was.
Ours
Is it
isn't like
auger?
this at all. Ours is all internal, and it augers it all. Yeah.
Okay.
Ours isn't air pushed at all. Ours
Okay.
is all augers and conveyors.
So we've got the air delivery to all the all the bins, so we've got an exchanger back there to switch it around and move it to different bins, which we don't have to mess with augers, which is sweet.
Yeah, that's
But it presents its own challenges then. Once in a while,
get stuff clogged.
once every couple of years, a pipe will blow apart,
Oh, yeah.
and you end up with 1,000 bushels in the ground that you
Yeah.
got to back up.
Wow.
So you try to do, we check on it 3 times a night, all fall. So we're out here quite a bit with that. It's noisy,
Oh, yeah.
so that's a downfall. It's really loud. Try to park the trucks around it at night to block some of the sound, but
Yeah.
I mean, ultimately, it's a lot nicer than dealing with augers,
Yeah.
especially with this many bins around, what you'd have to deal with.
Because you're just augering so far. Ours is
Right.
all so condensed in that our augers are all super short.
Yep,
So,
not nearly the whole different deal.
yeah. Totally different.
What did you call that thing?
A cover crop seeder.
A cover crop seeder.
Yeah.
So, I mean, a lot of the components are the same thing.
Yeah.
What we did here really,
But
essentially, it's kind of like a makeshift strip till machine.
Yeah,
So we'll put our P and our K,
yeah.
our
Oh,
K
you
and
can
our
have
P.
them separate
We've got them separate.
and do all of it separate. That's cool.
Yep, and then we variable rate each product by itself.
Sure.
So there's a prescription for each one.
Yeah.
And then what we do is feed it through. This is a chisel plow.
Right.
I mean, that's all it is a chisel plow.
And
We
then it's just
switched
got
it.
the delivery on the back.
Yes. So what we did was we switched the shanks from, I believe it was on 12-inch spacings.
Yep.
We switched it over to 15-inch spacings.
Yep.
And then every other one has an applicator tube on the back.
Yeah.
So half of them are just doing tillage, the other half are doing tillage and applying the P and K.
Yeah.
We did have, when we first got it for the first year, we put N on with it.
Yeah.
What we ran into was the anhydrous applicators. Show the camera here. The anhydrous applicators came down right here.
Right.
The problem was the air from this system was blowing out a lot of the N. So we were chasing that.
Yeah.
So what we need to do, ideally the best thing to do would be to move the N application to the shanks that are not running fertilizer.
Sure.
But
But
that's,
with anhydrous, then you have that other thing. I'd more so you could run AMS or something like that, or urea through.
Have a
in
third
the
tank.
Same. Well, but you could run them with your P and K or something like that if there was one of them that was going to be kind of consistent.
right.
You know, or you put your P and K together and you variable rate that on one, and then you do your flat rate
Yep.
AMS or urea.
I think just because of what we save by doing variable rate on both the P and K and the variability of it, it wouldn't work to blend them the same.
Yeah.
I think a third tank would be the answer, but then you get into putting urea on in the fall, because we do this. That's the other thing, is we do this as early as we can
Right.
to get it done,
Oh yeah.
because otherwise we end up with a year like last year where it freezes out and we can't get to it all.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, obviously you don't want to put N on when the ground is still 60 degrees.
Yeah, when it's still warm like that.
So adding the N to it presents enough challenges where we just decided we'll put the P and K on
Yeah.
and put the N on later, whether it's urea in the spring or anhydrous afterwards. No, it was when we put the NH3 tank behind it, it was like 130 feet long.
Yeah, you get to
And it actually worked out pretty good the way they had it rigged up, or the way
Oh,
it still
I see.
is. So the hitch comes out here, you can pull, it's just on a winch.
Yeah.
So you can pull it, you can pull that out 30 feet, hook to the anhydrous tank, and then run the winch up, and it pulls it up, and then you just couple it to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's ridiculously long.
Yeah.
And it looked even more ridiculous when we had the four-wheel drive. We had a 9630 we pulled it with.
Yeah.
That's a John Deere tractor.
Yeah, John Deere.
So this building, this shed, we built in 2013, actually 14.
Yeah.
The old building that was here was actually open to the east. It was an old cattle yard building.
Oh yeah.
So it was only 10 feet tall, so you couldn't get much in here.
Oh gosh.
And we had an ice storm in March of 2013 that took that down.
Yeah.
So we wiped that building out, and then the next summer we put this up, and then another year later we finished off the interior in here. So this has been huge for us to have something with sidewalls to get the big rigs in and actually work on stuff in the winter.
Yeah.
Which we couldn't do before we were working out of that
so
shed.
cold. Yeah.
Which is,
No insulation.
well, it is insulated and heated in there, but you couldn't get anything in the door. It was too small at this
Yeah.
point. So this has been big for us, been a big change for us. So this is a real planter. They paint them green.
Ah.
Some of the viewers are going to be all mad at me now.
Yeah,
I have to
jeez.
settle them down.
Everyone's gonna be. The comments are just gonna be bad.
That's okay. As long as there's comments there, I guess. They'll say what they want. You can't stop them.
No, it's
They're
good.
animals. So we've had this planter for 6 years now, I think. And we put the row cleaners on.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to call them trash whippers anymore.
No, not.
They are row cleaners. We got them from Yetter, so they're air adjust up and down from in the cab. So they are the Cadillac option.
Oh.
But what I found actually was that on our conventional till stuff, I really don't think, I mean,
No, you don't really need them.
not really, no. I mean,
Just gonna
at
push
times,
dirt. You're just pushing dirt, really. That's it.
yeah, what I found is if I'd run them, if I'd run the soil right here,
Yeah.
it would knock the rocks out. And it did, one thing it did help a lot for is knocking root balls out of the way.
Yeah.
The root balls from the corn.
Yeah.
Because we have had problems with them plugging up the closing wheels.
Sure.
So they did help that issue a lot. I think in a situation where you're talking about no-till or planting through cover crop.
Then you want them. They're huge for us.
Yeah, I would assume so actually, yeah.
Yeah, they're huge for us. Ours are they are running hydraulic down pressure with the Delta Force system.
Yeah. So yours are built by Yetter?
No, Delta
They're
Force
the
for
precision system.
planting, yeah.
Okay, so I believe they're actually manufactured by Yetter
Oh, it could be.
for precision.
Sure.
I think, maybe I got that wrong.
Somebody
A
will
bunch of
fact check.
people will chew me out
Yeah,
for that
somebody
if I
will
did
fact
get it
check.
wrong.
That's fine. But yeah, so that helps us to be able to go through and cut through that layer.
Yep.
And essentially what it does is it just pushes everything to the side.
Yep.
And we've found that with that living cover crop, it actually just kind of like rips it to the side.
Oh,
And
so I was
like
going to
that
ask.
clears things really well. You know, that it's actually like alive, and then it just kind of rips that out.
Yep.
And then I've got a nice little furrow.
So is it more important to have these or less important on planting green versus planting
More
on
important.
no-till?
More important.
With the planting green?
I think so.
Okay.
Probably. And as far as being able to keep that consistency, because you're going to be going through
Right.
where you do have a little, hill of roots or whatever, mounds, and it's not going to be super even.
Yep.
So having something that's adjusting and changing all the time helps to really make sure that we're getting consistency to
Yeah.
that depth and to the seed placement.
And that's what I figured. I didn't really have problems with them. I just wasn't, in certain situations, a lot of our conventional till stuff, I wasn't sure we needed them or not.
And a lot of
There
guys-
are a lot of guys that run them and really like
Instead
them.
of running the smooth closing wheels, a lot of guys will get them spiked and
Yep.
will get something a little different. Ours
Yep.
was just the case like flat press wheel.
Oh, okay. Did you go to the spiked ones then?
No, we haven't. We still have just that flat closing wheel that's just right over the top. But some guys will see that, with a no-till situation, you don't have the soil there really loose.
Yep.
That something like this is easily just going to push it back down together.
Yeah.
Where with the no-till and the cover crops, you don't have that loose soil to push back together.
Yeah.
And so what we found then with the press wheel is we have enough that's kind of there that we press back in, where now we've got the structure built up so it does kind of crumble back in together. But a lot of guys will use a little bit of more of a spike, something to kind of get it chewed up and
Yep.
free up a little bit of soil to fill that furrow.
So I've got a good buddy that tried the spiked ones last year and took them off after 40 acres and chucked them behind the shed because all they did was gather rocks in a conventional till situation.
Sure.
So I always liked what we had, but we'll go out to it too. We've got 7 acres of zero till, I guess I'd call it.
Yeah.
It was CRP stuff that we planted green right into.
Yeah.
And we had a lot of trouble getting that furrow to close.
Right.
So I had to really crank the pressure up on these, but in a situation like that, I think the spiked ones would be the way to go.
Well, because that'd be very similar to our stuff there, where that soil is all super held together by all those
Right.
roots. It's not just gonna like fall back in.
Yep.
So
And it's an easy
just
change.
easy
it's
change,
not
but,
difficult.
But I think that's something though for this conversation that's real money though too.
Yeah.
You have to change it for every single unit.
Right.
And it adds up when you got a big planter and stuff.
Mitchell, did you want to sit in a real tractor, or are you scared of it? Isn't it lovely? Look at that.
Wow.
Oh, that's from the kid loosening it up.
Oh yeah. You got to play with this.
Yeah, that's right.
You got
Yeah.
to play with the.
It's like a kid knob.
Man, fun stuff. Oh, so then the Yetter setup has its own.
It's got its own screen, which they said that they could. It's pretty easy to get it run into the 2630, the
Yeah.
deer monitor.
Yeah.
So I don't need that, but at the time they installed it, they didn't have the hardware in stock to get that onto there. So I just ran with
So
this
you just
screen.
had that, yeah.
Next year
Not a
we'll
big
put it
deal.
down, yeah.
Yeah, not a big.
So that is our sprayer, 4830. It's the old style deer sprayer. We don't put nitrogen on with it. Actually, we don't do any split application. Almost nobody around here does, at least not from here west.
Yeah.
So we put our nitrogen on in one shot before we plant the crop, and then this is herbicides, pesticides,
Yep.
Insecticides.
Sprayed on.
What's that?
Fungicides getting sprayed on.
Yeah, about now.
Yeah.
which we actually
haven't seen
talked this morning. Normally this week we are spraying for soybean aphids like crazy.
Yeah.
And this year we're gonna go out and try to find some, but
Yeah, yeah.
I mean we're talking 5 to 10 per plant.
Yeah. No
And
big
it's
deal.
late. I don't think we're gonna have to spray the aphids.
Yeah.
Normally that's what we mix in our fungicide pass with. So we were talking this morning about whether or not we're gonna throw that fungicide out there or not.
Yeah. Might not really need it this year. It's so
That's-
late, and like I haven't seen a lot of disease either. There's guys talking about you still do it or not. I mean, a lot of times just for the health side
Yeah.
of like the crop health side,
Yep.
it'll still pay for itself. But
It might.
Might.
Yeah.
Now it's like kind of back and forth.
Right.
But hopefully the crop will be kind of worth something this year.
Yeah.
It's
Kind of worth something
So
anyway.
hopefully it'll be worth a little bit and
Yeah.
make it a little bit more enticing to
Right.
get the economics to work out.
Somebody might want some of this crop.
Maybe
this year.
somebody will buy it. That'd
Yeah.
be nice. If we have
Well,
to keep it,
If we could keep
not fun.
if we could keep the orange guy off of Twitter might help.
Yeah.
See, now I just made more viewers mad again. It's just a joke, guys. Jeez.
Jeez. Everyone's so.
Okay, Mitchell. This is our most prized piece of machinery.
I like it.
This is an old bread truck that we now hold water in. That's really all there is to know about that. The brakes on it lock up every spring. You got to climb under it and hammer on them.
100%. Yeah.
But it's a necessary evil.
Yeah. You gotta have the old bread truck.
You got to have the old bread truck. Every time. It blows the breaker every time you flip the lights on. We have too many lights on one. All it does is trip it, and then you flip it again.
Flip it again.
And then you're good to go.
Oh, that's good.
In the summer, it happens right away. In the winter, it takes 10 seconds.
Oh, and then it flips it.
Yeah.
And then you have
It'd be nice if I knew an electrician or something. Car owner, Corey.
the heck.
He's a character.
In North Dakota, we do that by hand.
Oh, you have hand. Well, that's what.
Oh, that's cute. You have rocks you can pick up by hand. Wow.
Big rocks.
Poor fella. We have Volkswagens that we have to use this machine for to get them out of the ground and throw them in there and drag them to the edge of the field.
That's awesome.
If you're interested in taking any with you,
We'll take the rocks back.
yeah, you are more than welcome.
We'll load them up in Annie's car and take them back to Iowa.
I'm not helping you load them. So we got the grain cart loaded up right now because we actually load soybean trucks out with this,
Yeah.
so that we can use the scale and know what's coming in and out.
Yeah.
We've actually got, these people watching don't even know this yet, but we have a brand new grain cart coming for this fall. I'm not going to say where it's coming from or what it is,
That's a secret.
but it's big, it's on tracks, and it's built by the people that built this seed tender right there. Ask me that again.
Okay. What are you tendering with this guy?
This was our seed tender for like 15 years. But now we got the J&M LC290, so this just sat here this year.
Yeah. But I bet you can tender like your P&K and stuff with this though too.
Yes, yeah, we would,
But
yeah.
Probably wouldn't have to. The co-op will bring it out. Or
That's the thing, is the co-op usually brings out the truck, and
Yeah. They
because
can do
we're moving 8 tons of it at a time, so
yeah. This guy doesn't quite hold that.
right, not quite. I mean, you could maybe hold it with this guy, but it wouldn't want to move.
You wouldn't want to move.
doesn't
It's
exactly-
probably not going to auger it all that fast.
I know it looks like a fancy hot rod, but it's not as powerful as it
It
looks.
doesn't.
This is what the YouTube viewers seem to love: green combines.
Oh.
It's not a new series. We don't have the S series because S series are expensive. But this is a 2012, 2011 or 12. It's the last year of the old 70 series. We got it hopped up. We reprogrammed it to add 100 horsepower to it last year. Yeah, so that was cool. I wish it had tracks sometimes, but the duals are
The
nice.
dual wheels, yeah, you
Yep.
got enough spread out.
You have duals on yours?
No, we used to have duals, but now we just have the fat tires.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, we
Like the
just
low
have
pro?
the Mud Hog fat tires.
Oh, okay. Those are cool too. There's a lot of those around
Does
here.
this have GPS on it too? Auto steer?
Yes. So it's got row sense.
Yeah, yeah.
And then, yeah, so
Oh,
then
row
it
sense.
does also, it'll track on the
can-
soybeans too.
yeah.
The old one, we had a second machine, 9650. That one was 20 years old, but it was low hours, so we ran 2 machines on soybeans just to get us to corn faster.
Sure.
We actually upgraded and sold our 2 auger headers for a 40-foot flex draper.
Yeah.
So for anybody, especially farmers, know that those new flex drapers are pricey.
Yeah.
So we traded the 2 auger headers, sold off that other machine, and invested in the flex draper now. So instead of having 2 machines with the old headers, we'll have 1 wider header on this machine. So it's just it's one less hassle.
Yeah. Well, and the biggest thing there being just the people side of things too.
Yeah,
You gotta have the labor to get it all done.
It adds a whole nother logistical complication once you
Yeah.
have a second machine.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Mitchell just told me he had a drone that came and you spread on cover crop into
a
standing corn.
Yep.
So we've tried 4 times, I believe it is now, and we have spread using an airplane into standing corn and soybeans.
Yeah.
And gotten just about 0 growth out of it.
Right.
And every year we tried it earlier and earlier, thinking that was our issue. We made sure we got it down before leaf drop on the soybeans. We got plenty of rain. The one thing we didn't do is we've never tried rye because we're scared of it taking off in the spring.
Yeah, yeah.
But we've tried barley, oats, radishes, turnips. I mean, we've tried a pretty good blend.
Well, and I
It
think
just hasn't worked out.
for me, it's using the rye, but then you'll want to get it in there and terminate it really early in the spring.
In the spring, yeah. And that's what we're scared of is if it's too wet and we can't get out there,
Yeah,
we
and
can't
then
get
it
it
gets
terminated.
nuts.
Because
Yeah.
my buddy Randy had that exact scenario. They planted rye one fall, actually put it on and incorporated it with a chisel plow.
Yeah.
And the next spring, they planted right through the stuff, and it was beautiful.
Yeah.
So the following year, they did like 2,000 acres of this stuff,
Yeah.
and it was a disaster because it was a wet spring. They couldn't get to it. They couldn't kill it off. Stuff was like 2 feet tall.
With
They
corn
didn't,
trying to
they didn't know what to do. They couldn't get in there. They couldn't plant through it. They couldn't till it up.
Yeah.
It was a disaster.
Yeah, that's a mess. So ours, we like to plant into it when it's green and like
Yeah.
8 to 12 inches tall.
Yeah.
We plant corn into that, and then spray
Which is
it
what they
off.
did the first year, and it
Then
worked out
spray it
well
off
for them.
within a couple days after that. But yeah,
Yeah.
you do have to be kind of careful because a lot of times in the spring, when it's time to plant corn, it's time to plant corn.
time to go.
Not slow down and try to spray.
Yeah.
But it does take kind of that balancing effort there.
Right.
But that's probably the number of acres is critical too.
Yeah.
To start really small, and
Right.
they needed to work into it slower maybe.
Right. Which is what the first year, as well as it worked, they were all excited about.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Yeah, we got this. We're going to plant rye on everything for a cover crop.
Yeah. So in our first year is when we had the disaster.
Okay.
With our cover crop. And we had rye, and we planted it way too thick also.
Yeah.
And didn't get it terminated correctly. So not only did we have this mass of stuff growing that was way too thick, but then didn't get it killed off the right way either. So now we've drastically lowered our rates also.
Yep.
So now you don't have as much out there, that even if you're not as timely with your termination, you
It's
don't
not
have
as
as
thick.
much to deal with.
Yeah.
So that's helped.
Sure.
But-
Have you ever had to kill it with an airplane?
No.
No.
No, but we have the Haggy that'll go over it. And so like on our corn this year, we sprayed some of it like 7 days later after planting.
After planting
After
through it.
planting, yep.
Yep.
And then spray it off. The beans, we actually waited and didn't kill it for like 40 days after planting the beans.
Sure.
So those beans were like V2, V3. They were
Coming
big.
through pretty tall.
And then we sprayed it off. The other one, in order to not have as much material, we used winter wheat instead of cereal rye.
Sure.
Because the rye will get freaking 5
The
7
wheat isn't
foot
gonna
tall.
take off on you
The
like
wheat's
that.
only going to get like 3 foot tall. It's not going to go as fast.
Yeah.
It'll still grow and get obviously decent size, but it's not going to be as aggressive as that rye.
Yeah.
And for about the same price. Monarchs.
There's tons of milkweed around here.
I've got a
like just
bunch.
in the last 3 years, it just exploded and
Yeah.
came back. But we went for a drive. I figured I better show Mitchell our zero-till soybeans out here.
Oh yeah.
We've got quite a mix. I've had a lot of people asking online too about them, but we got spots that look just fine, and we got spots that look like it's almost dead, and then we got this spot where I dumped the planter.
Where you dumped it.
We were done planting for the year, so obviously
Not great.
not great. No, definitely does not look like the stuff across the road.
So how come some of your weeds are dying, some of them are really not? Like the grass. I can't believe the grass you didn't get a better kill.
Well, yeah, I can't either, because this is Roundup, so the
Yeah,
grass
I guess.
didn't kill very well. I don't
Yeah.
understand it.
Weird. And some of it's just a different bunch grass and whatnot.
Yeah.
But-
I don't know if it was that thick or what happened, but we used a high water rate. Then we got spots like this where there's some beans that didn't even come up.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, this looks okay, but
right
way
here.
behind.
Because there's got to be an old strip of some. Oh, I bet. Is there a wire or something that they buried here?
No,
From that?
no, this is probably just planter tracks where I drove.
Right,
So
right.
when I
But
planted,
as far as the strip that's going this way, it's like right here that looks pretty good.
might be where I stopped and lifted the planter up.
Sure. Weird.
So when we planted this, it was obviously planted late. It was our last stuff planted. So it was planted June.
It's probably been just super dry and everything too, and with all the grass pulling extra moisture
That's
out.
what I think. Those roots are drying it out. But so I carried well on it when I planted it, but underneath, an inch down, it was muck. Just muck.
Yeah.
But it planted fine, carrying on top of the grass. And it came up right away, so they didn't lay in dry dirt or anything.
Yeah.
I mean, the spots where it got closed up, it looked pretty good.
Yeah. But it's just this tiny little patch? Was there?
Yeah, this is only 7 acres.
7 acres.
Yeah. Well, it was in CRP for 15 years, so we had to tear some trees out, and we left, like Mitchell said, the marshmallow roast.
Marshmallow roast.
That'll be later.
Happening later. Come one, come all.
Come on, come on. This is for us. This is sandier soil. Yeah, because we're kind of on a ridge here.
Yeah, I mean, I think just the inconsistency on being able to get it down in, and like some of this, I mean, you got like this root ball and whatnot right here that just with that air downforce isn't going to be as, it's not that responsive to getting it in consistently. That's where you're going to have the tracks and everything going to shoot differently.
Right. Yeah, it's clearly inconsistent. Obviously, there's not really going to be a soybean crop in the U.S. this year, so
no,
China, you better hurry up and buy now.
It's all destroyed.
It's all destroyed.
Terrible.
There's going to be nothing left.
Nope.
I didn't get a lot of it on camera, but basically what Mitchell said was I screwed up, I did everything wrong, and over the course of 2 years with enough equipment, time, and money, I could make this all better again.
Yeah, it just takes money and just
time and iron.
Time and money and
motivation.
You sounded really excited about that.
Motivation.
Well, the thing is that I don't want to have to get out of bed before 11.
Well, yeah, why would you want to do that?
No, it'd be ridiculous. I'm a millennial. I deserve to sleep until lunch.
Deserve to sleep, and somebody else should fix your problem for you.
That's right. You want to go see my next amazing field?
Yeah, let's do it.
And the next one's even worse.
Just as amazing as this one.
I am taking you to my absolute worst fields.
Nice.
And I'm bringing the internet with me.
Yeah.
So it's not embarrassing at all. So do you see that that beautiful field off in the distance where there's nothing growing on it?
Wow. That looks nice.
Yeah. We got tons of ruts out there from trying to make anything happen.
Beautiful.
By the way, I am hands-free driving. See? See? Hands-free. See these really nice beans across the road? Those are not ours. This is ours. This is ours over here.
You left your South Dakota history book on the in the ditch.
Oh, there's my South Dakota history book.
Yeah, I like it. It looks fun.
Nice.
And moldy.
So this was a new piece that we rented this year. We've never farmed this.
Over the football.
Still never have.
Still nothing.
But it was wet. Needs a lot of drain tile or something. It didn't get tilled up last fall. So we came in here this spring and tried to just lightly scratch it, and there was nowhere in the field that I could go 400 feet and not plug up with mud.
I think you more than lightly scratched this spot. You
Yeah.
like really itched it hard.
I was about that deep.
Oh yeah.
It just started pulling. And then as you can tell, so I lifted up, tried to turn and go back the other way, and I couldn't even with the tillage tool up, I couldn't drive across here.
No, yeah.
It was leaking out of everywhere.
That's nice.
So you can see it's still an inch down, it's still really wet.
Yeah,
even in the
worm turds that you got.
Well,
Worm turds.
you get worm turds anywhere.
I found worm turds.
Gross, we're going to dinner next.
Lots of worm turds. But yeah, this stuff is super just like mucky right down in here too. But I mean, it still seems like there's a decent amount of sand though.
That's the part that really surprised me, is this is not that heavy of a field.
No, it's sandy.
We shouldn't have struggled like this here. So the only variable to this field is the fact that it was not tilled last fall. That was the only variable that threw this field off versus every other field around it.
Yeah. And even with it being kind of like sloped and everything, I would have thought it would have gotten out, but the ditch isn't going to take anything.
No, this ditch doesn't.
The ditch isn't going to move anything.
Drain tile would definitely help it, but there again, we could put 30 or 40 grand worth of drain tile in it and fix the field, but we don't own this field. It's a rented field and we've never farmed it before. So you have to have that conversation with the landlord too and talk about, what do we do?
Yeah.
How do you get stakeholders on board?
How do you get stakeholders on board? That's a very, very good question, Todd. In fact, if you're interested in hearing us talk about that, you can check out the Fieldwork Podcast wherever you get your podcasts.
Somebody rounded this up. What are they thinking?
Well, I had to make a good YouTube video, so I had to come in here and make some ruts and make everything look fancy.
Tear it all up.
Complain about stuff a little.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
but you can see that the corn, the volunteer corn from last year grew up better where I rutted it.
oh yeah.
That's our cover crop.
Yeah, corn cover crop, that's fine.
Yeah. So give me 30 seconds, Mitchell. What do you think?
So
What should I do here?
okay, so on this one, I'm thinking that here this fall, or you could do it pretty much any time now that you have time before harvest.
Yep.
Come in and get this leveled off.
I don't have time today though, because we're going down to
not
Lake
today.
Minnetonka.
Yeah, well, we got to go out on the boat. Yeah.
Yeah, we got to go on a boat.
sometime.
I don't have time for this farming stuff.
Yeah, we got way more important business to attend to. But I would get it leveled off, and then come in with the cover crop and whatnot. Probably like some clover and your radishes would maybe work here, because you can do this like now.
So would you drill them in, or would you spread it and then do a light tillage?
Spread it, and you can do a light tillage. Because if you're going to run your deeper tillage here now, run your run your strip till rig essentially.
Yep.
To get it leveled out.
Yep.
And then spread it on over the top, or you could see if, I don't know what the liming situation or anything like that would be.
We don't need any lime here.
Any lime.
No, everything is super high pH.
Yeah, it kind of looks like you can like see it in the soil.
That's a 7.8 pH.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. That's a brick is what they call those.
Yeah.
Or a gravel road. So yeah. Spread on that cover crop, or I mean, you can plant it however, and then potentially just a light cultivator, or like a harrow or something like that, because you're gonna have a lot of these different clods and stuff too. You're still gonna have clods after you, so you can level that out, and most of that stuff will die here over the winter. And but I'd be okay with a little bit of wheat or cereal rye or something like that that'll come back through in the spring.
Wheat. Okay.
And then you'll have your soybeans to go right into that. But or you could have a cover crop that's not gonna survive the winter.
Right.
Because right now you have
winter
time.
kills.
Yeah, you have time and you have moisture.
You know how heavy this camera gets holding it out there with one arm?
You gotta be
I
strong.
asked for 30 seconds, Mitchell.
Sorry.
Yeah. It's lunchtime now.
It's lunchtime.
You eat a lot of salad?
Oh yeah. Little rabbit food?
Yeah, me neither.